2 Samuel chapter 15. And it came to be after this, that Absalom prepared a chariot and horses for himself, and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom used to rise early, and stand beside the way to the gate. And it came to be, whenever everyone who had a complaint came to the sovereign for a right ruling, that Absalom would call to him and say, What city are you from? And when he said, Your servant is from such and such a tribe of Israel, Absalom would say to him, Look, your matters are good and right, but you have nobody from the sovereign to hear you. And Absalom would say, Oh, that I were made judge in the land, and everyone who has any complaint or case will come to me, and I shall let right be done to him. And it came to be, whenever anyone came near him to bow down to him, that he would put out his hand and take hold of him and kiss him. And Absalom did this to all Israel who came to the sovereign for right ruling. And Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And it came to be at the end of 40 years that Absalom said to the sovereign, Please let me go to Hebron and pay the vow which I vowed to Yah. For your servant vowed a vow while I dwelt in Geshur in Aram, saying, If Yah indeed brings me back to Yerushalayim, then I shall serve Yah. And the sovereign said to him, Go in peace. And he rose up and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as you hear the voice of the shofar, then you shall say, Absalom is sovereign in Hebron. And with Absalom went 200 men from Yerushalayim, who were invited, and they went along unsuspectingly, and did not know the matter at all. Absalom also sent Ahithophel, the Gilonite, counselor of David from the city, from Gilo, while he slaughtered slaughterings. And it came to be that the conspiracy became potent, for the people with Absalom kept increasing. Then the messengers came to David, saying, The hearts of the men of Israel are with Absalom. And David said to all his servants who were with him at Yerushalayim, Rise up, and let us flee, for none of us shall escape from Absalom. Go in haste, lest he overtake us quickly and bring evil upon us, and strike the city with the edge of the sword. And the sovereign's servants said to the sovereign, Look, your servants shall do according to all my master the sovereign chooses. And the sovereign went out, and all his household at his feet. But the sovereign left 10 women, concubines, to look after the house. So the sovereign went out, and all the people at his feet, and they stood still at the last house. And all his servants was passing on at his side. And all the Kerethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gedites, 600 men who had followed him from Gath, were passing on before the sovereign. And the sovereign said to Ittai, the Gedite, Why do you go, you also with us? Turn back and remain with the sovereign, for you are a foreigner, and also an exile from your own place. You came yesterday, and should I today make you wander up and down with us? When I am going wherever I am going, return and take your brothers back. Love and commitment and truth be with you. And Ittai answered the sovereign and said, As Yah lives, and as my master the sovereign lives, in whatever place my master the sovereign is, whether in death or life, let your servant also be there. Therefore David said to Ittai, Go and pass over. And Ittai the Gedite, and all his men, and all the little ones who were with him passed over. And all the land was weeping with a loud voice, and all the people were passing over. And the sovereign himself was passing over the Wadi Kidron. And all the people were passing toward the way of the wilderness. And see, Sadok also came, all the Levites with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of Yah. And they set down the ark of Yah. And Abiathar went up until all the people completed passing over from the city. And the sovereign said to Sadok, Take the ark of Yah back to the city. If I find favor in the eyes of Yah, then he shall bring me back and show me both it and his dwelling. But if he says thus, I have not delighted in you, here I am, and let him do to me as seems good in his eyes. And the sovereign said to Sadok the priest, Are you not a seer? Return to the city in peace, and your 2 sons with you, Ahimaaz your son, and Jehonathan son of Abiathar. See, I am waiting in the desert plains of the wilderness until word comes from you to inform me. And Zadok and Abiathar took the ark of Yah back to Yerushalayim, and they remained there. And Dawid went up by the ascent of the Mount of Olives, and wept as he went up. And he had his head covered, and went barefoot. And all the people who were with him covered their heads, and went up weeping as they went up. And Dawid was informed, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And Dawid said, O Yah, I pray you, make the counsel of Ahithophel foolish. And it came to be that Dawid came to the summit, where he bowed himself before Yah, and saw Hushai the Archite coming to meet him with his robe torn and dust on his head. And Dawid said to him, If you pass on with me, then you shall become a burden to me. But if you return to the city and say to Absalom, I am your servant, O sovereign, once servant of your father, now I am your servant, then you shall nullify the counsel of Ahithophel for me. And are not Zadok and Abiathar the priests with you there? And it shall be that every matter you hear from the sovereign's house, you shall report to Zadok and Abiathar the priests. See, there with them are two sons, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jehonathan, Abiathar's son. And by them you shall send me every matter you hear. And Hushai, Dawid's friend, went into the city, and Absalom came into Yerushalayim.